So they say 3D printing is going to revolutionize everything. Who they are, I don't know, but that's what they say. I'm a bit of a fan of 3D printing. I don't own a 3D printer of the type, the type that actually makes useful stuff such as knobs and buttons and cases and various bits and pieces. I would like to, but I can't really justify the cost. Maybe in a few years, if the cost gets down to 200 or 300 euros, then maybe I would. But I have used 3D printing services in Dublin. We're kind of blessed to have several 3D printing shops where you can take your designs in and they'll print them for you on the spot. And for example, I recently worked for a company that produced dashboards, which would be like the screens you see in call centres showing how many calls are waiting, or screens in warehouses showing the status of orders and the like. We actually produced these dashboards using Raspberry Pi computers, and we used modified Wi-Fi modules on them to fit in better antennas, because we found that the standard USB plug-in modules didn't really work over in a big warehouse. So one of the problems we had was we had to make new cases because all the standard Raspberry Pi cases didn't work. In fact, we needed something we could actually attach to the back of a television so that we could just stick one of these Raspberry Pis inside a box to the back of a TV, and then the TV could go anywhere they wanted. So you didn't need to be near an Ethernet port. As long as you had a wireless signal onto the network, you were good. And that's what we used 3D printing for. It was very useful, very handy, and we got the design we wanted. We even were able to put the company's brand on it. But anyway, I digress. My wife wanted one of these for Christmas. She hinted at it. And I'm going to do a sort of review of it. I would like to do a teardown, but I'll show you why I can't do that. It's not 3D printing in the normal sense of the word, to be honest with you. But let's have a look what's inside the box anyway. Get away, dog. So this is the pen, the 3Doodler. It looks, I don't know, it looks like a piece of medical equipment, to be honest with you, in my opinion. But we'll show you, see how it works. Some instructions, quick start guide, and here's the ABS plastic rods that it uses. Here's one that's already open, so I'm going to use that. And underneath, a charger. It's worth noting that it does come with these like extra long nozzles here. Short, long, and I think that's if you're building big three-dimensional structures and you need to get inside it. So I'll just leave them to one side for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it in. Just to show you in action, because you might be tempted to buy one of these, and they're not cheap. This was 130 euros in Maplin's, which is like the British version of Radio Shack, but more focused on electronics as opposed to Radio Shack, which moved over to the selling phones and house and consumer equipment. Make sure I get it in the right hole. Nope, that's not it. So anyway, and so yeah, there's a power supply here, power button. Where is it? It's here. You can choose between low and high. Apparently there's two different types of plastic rods you can get. There's ABS and there's another type which I'll tell you what that's called. It is called PLA. So I don't know what that means, to be honest with you. I'll look it up and I'll put it across the screen. So yeah, the way it works is, well, the first thing I'm noticing is it's like I've got the buzz, which makes me think this isn't grounded properly. Don't know if you've ever used electrical equipment with metal casing and you sort of rub your finger and you get the slight buzz. It's not dangerous, but it means it hasn't been properly grounded. So that's a slight concern. But I'm not going to worry too much about it. The problem I have with this is it's not really very useful. Like, you look at the instructions and it says, you got these two buttons. You press that for slow speed, that for fast speed. And you hear there's a motor inside it whirring away. and like just the length of time it takes to get the rod to come through is ridiculous. So, and one of the things it says you shouldn't force it, so I'm not going to force it. Try slow. And it just sounds like the motor's straining. You know, and the tip's getting quite hot right now. Yeah, it just doesn't feel very nice in use. It doesn't feel intuitive. It doesn't feel friendly, to be honest with you. One of the things I find very interesting is that there appears to be a thing here which looks kind of like, almost like a port you'd use to connect up diagnostics, but nowhere in the instructions does it talk about it. So I don't know what that is, but anyway, I might put it on screen if I find out. So let's do this again. It's like, how do you get these rods in? Let's try fast again. It smells just like how hot things smell when they get hot, fresh new electronics. You see the problem here? You know, if this was a glue gun, and I'm assuming that this is in essence based on a glue gun, albeit one with motors and using a hotter motor for stiffer plastics, but to me this just feels like it started out, the design started out as a glue gun, because I do know people who have used glue guns for purposes of art, for doing pictures, when you use the colourful glue sticks. So if you were using a glue gun, you'd have the glue coming through in a minute or two. But this just seems to struggle. Let's do it again. It's just not taking it, and it's really annoying. No, I don't really want to force it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it and come back and tell you how I get on. So after 5 minutes, finally we're getting somewhere, and it's finally taking in the plastic rod, which is coming through slowly. Very slowly, and I'm supposed to be on fast here. You see it sort of gradually sinking in here. Now we're finally getting somewhere. Now, so as you can see, there's something coming out, and oddly enough it doesn't look pink, does it? It looks like it's come out a kind of a yellowy, sickly pink. Let's just break that off and see what I can do with it. I'll see if I can write something. Stop. Yeah. See, I'm trying to write. Robert's Shed. To be honest with you, I'm not that impressed. It's like it seems like the designers, they had the idea, and they thought, oh, this would be brilliant, but the execution is all wrong. But just like just. And I'm sure with practice, I'd get better at this. Don't get me wrong on that. But as it stands, I'm just not that impressed. And more to the point, I don't actually see who this is for. It's an art. I see it as art stuff. It's like, if you look at the box, it says build, craft, decorate. That's fair enough. No, build arty stuff, craft, yeah, decorate. Fix what? I'm not quite sure really. Play and design, fair enough. I'll go along with that. It's, come on, look at that. Seriously, someone made that? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm sorry, 3Doodler. I'm not impressed. And I'm sure a lot of people are impressed. But the stuff like in the instructions there was like it would take what is it? It takes 30 to 40 seconds for your plastic to extrude after inserting your strand. No. I spent 10 minutes trying to get it to come out. In actual fact, I found that putting the rod in, a lot of the time the motor seemed to be trying to push it out again. It would actually come back up. So, I'm really not that impressed with it. And there's also an issue, a slight design issue, I think, in that the rod goes under the cable here. In an ideal world, I would say that should be reversed. Because the cable's going to be interfering with the strand of the rod, call it what you will. I'm not impressed, to be honest with you. Oh, there it is coming out. So I'm ejecting it. It's just bad. It's not well designed, if you ask me. No. So there it is. I don't recommend it. 3D printing's great. It's an amazing thing. But this, I don't see the point. I've seen toy versions that retail for 30, 40 euros, and I'm assuming they use some sort of cold plastic, sort of, I could almost imagine some sort of, Play-Doh-ish kind of thing that dries hard as it's extruded. If you want to get into art, 3D printing for art and the like, maybe that's a better option. But this, for the 130 euros plus 13 euro for a packet, each packet of these, nah, I don't think it's worth it. It's an expensive novelty. So there you go. Cheers.